Alright guys, today I'm going to talk about my 2012 Dodge Durango and the fuel pump relay recall that has been put out by the Dodge Chrysler company. If you own a 2011 to 2013 Durango, Caravan, Cherokee, anything really in all her lineups, they put out a recall for the fuel pump relay. Basically that it can fail. I had the luxury of having this fail on my car, and I wanted to go over what to expect, what the symptoms are, what's the cause of it, what's their fix for it, and if you're stuck, things you can do to hopefully keep yourself going until you get this work repaired. When you go to start your car, it'll just crank. The starter will run, it'll crank, and it will not start until you hit the stop button, or it stops on its own, depending if you have a push start or a turnkey ignition. Usually when it first starts to happen, you'll have that issue once, you'll stop it, you'll go to start again, and you'll be fine. Don't ignore that though, because ultimately this problem is going to get worse and it's going to leave you stranded. Now early on, Dodge or Chrysler had not put out the recall, and people were dealing with this and ultimately finding out what the issue was, and Dodge wasn't doing anything about it. But now if you have this issue with these cars, you can go and call them up. There's ways to test, which I'll show you. You can call them up and they'll do the recall for you. Now in my case, I was intermittently, now knowing what the issues are, or what the symptoms are, I was having that issue and I didn't know it. And ultimately, because I would try to start it every once in a while, it just didn't start, I'd stop the start process, restart, and it'd be fine. When I went for service, and I don't have Dodge do service, regular service, I do that myself, but I had an issue with the air conditioner. There ended up being a hole in the condenser. While I was in there, they asked if they wanted to do the recalls, and I said sure. One of those recalls ended up being the fuel pump relay recall. They did it. I ended up having the problem about a year to 2 years later, knowing that they did the recall right off the bat, thinking, well, I already had that recall, it can't be that, it must be something else. And here it turns out the recall relay failed, and I'll show you that, like I said. So if you're having the issue where it's not starting, it would crank, it won't start, you turn it off, turn it on, you might have to do it a couple times. You might have to cycle the car, say, you turn it to on, let it kind of run, the fuel pump runs, turn it off, turn it back to on, turn it off, and then go ahead and start the car and you'll be fine. That typically will get you going. One of the things I realized is that relay, especially in my case with the external relay that they ended up putting in, the relay itself fails more so with heat. So if you were to say, driving home from work, you stopped at the store, you ran in, came back out, the car won't start. Your best bet would be to pop the hood open, let the car cool down a little bit. I've even gone ahead and tapped on the relay with whatever I had in the car, something, even if you can reach it with your fingers, or something in the car that you can just tap on it, and it actually helps a lot. So just to kind of get things working again. But ultimately, if you haven't had the recall, you need to get that taken care of. If you have had the recall, that relay could still go bad. That external relay. Actually, I have one sitting here. This is actually, I bought a 2-pack, thinking that it may go bad again if it already went bad once. So this is a 2-pack. I can put this in the link in the description. Super cheap. Just pop it on. It's real easy to do. And you'll be on your way again. So I'm going to pop the hood open here. I'm going to show you everything that they did and the thing that I had to change out. in order to get going again. Alright guys, so this is the totally integrated power module, or the TIPM for short. Ultimately, there's a circuit board, all your fuses, all your relays, and if you were to go ahead and pop some of these clips here, this whole piece comes out and you'll see the plugs and the wire. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can see that down here, but down in here you can kind of see the wiring, the plugs. It's basically a couple big plugs that go in for the wiring. Ultimately, what's happening is the fuel pump relay is built into the circuit board, which is underneath this panel here. It's not a changeable one like these ones here are. So before Dodge put the recall out, you had no choice but to either, if you knew how to do wiring, you could put an external relay in and bypass it, or you were buying a new TIPM module, which is over $1,000. I actually never even looked, but you can expect to pay anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 for this whole setup if you didn't find one in a junkyard. And if you found one in a junkyard, it probably would have the same issue, or would have the same issue soon as you put it in. So ultimately, to fix the problem, Dodge ran, make sure you see this, Dodge ran this relay right here, and I'm not going to pull it out, but if you look, it's just a relay mounted to the side here, and there's a few wires. One runs to a fusible power wire here, which is right there. That'll give it power, constant power. There's going to be a ground wire, a contact or a trigger wire, which is probably the accessory wire going to it, a wire going to the fuel pump. It basically bypasses the whole TIPM module here and allows them to put the relay in and not have to replace this unit. It's all fine and dandy until, like I said, this relay here went bad on me, giving me the same symptoms as what I was experiencing or would have experienced if this had went bad. So like I said before, if you do end up having an issue where it's not starting and you think it may be this fuel pump relay, take a look to see if they ran this. This is completely recall related, so this will not be here if your recall was not done. Obviously, if your recall is not done, easy fix, just take it to the dealer and have them look at it. You pretty much know it's fuel pump relay. If they try to fight, you say, we'll do the recall if your car falls under that, and we'll see if it fixes it. There's also a kit. It was sold by, and I'll put the link in the description as well because they still do sell it, but it was prior to them doing the recall. There was a company that came out that had basically a tester and then a bypass, which the tester ultimately took the fuel pump fuse, and basically you take the fuse out, plug it in their tester, plug the tester in here, ran into this ground over here, and try to start the car. If the car didn't start, or while it started, if the light there was a little light on there, it should come on. You can ultimately do the same thing with a test light, what have you, just sticking a test light into the fuse here and seeing if you're getting power from the relay, and that's ultimately would be the test. If the relay's sending you power, then it's not the relay. But there is a kit, I'll put that in the link. Like I said, if you're handy enough, you can either use a meter or a test light to do the same thing. Then they had that same little kit would bypass it, and ultimately you would plug this fuse into, I think, this fuse here, which is an accessory wire for the rear cigarette lighter. You could steal power from this to power up your fuel pump, and it was accessory, so it would turn on. It's not necessarily the right way to fix things, because I don't know what kind of you know, the thickness of wires, too much draw on that circuit could be an issue. But people bought it, people have had success with it. Some people just rigged up their own thing to do that. But again, like I said, there is a recall out. It's well known. If you haven't had the recall, fix it. If you had the recall, it may be this issue here. It may be this relay, which you can go ahead and buy. 2 of them, I think, were don't quote me, but 2 of them I think were like $10 or 12, 20 bucks, something like that. And now I have one spare one in case it happens again. But it stinks. But at least now, if you're out and if you are stranded, like I said, I'm probably repeat myself 2 or 3 times, but if you are stranded, if this heats up or the fuel pump relay in here heats up, it could cause it to fail, which ultimately, if you let it cool down, you have a shot of it working. So just, you know, chill out for 10 minutes with the hood open, let it cool down, try to start it back up, and it should work. Also, tapping on this top of this here actually helped out a lot with me until my relays came in. I gave it one good whack with a screwdriver, and I didn't have the issue again, but I still changed it out just because I ordered them, so why not? So that is it for this video. I just wanted a quick tutorial on how to do this. I also want to remind you guys that I do have some other projects going on. My C2HX project, my arcade cabinet with MAME emulator, and ultimately RetroArch as well, to run my kids' arcade system. I'm building the cabinet now. That video should drop after this one, and that'll be part 1 of probably three videos. And I'll basically show you from the ground up building the cabinet, building the system, the computer system that's going to sit in it, wiring up all the controls, getting everything working start to finish. And it should be pretty cool for the kids. Kids are actually were part of it as well, painting and basically painting the cabinet for me, and help me out a little bit with the woodworking and stuff. So also, this is just a reminder as well, as I start hitting subscribers, I did say in my very first video, that once we hit 100 subscribers, we're gonna do a giveaway. So most likely it's going to be an average Mike shirt, and I'll let you guys pick color, type of shirt. I'll give you a couple options, and I'll ship it off to you guys. Just trying to get the subscribers. We'll have to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll get that out to you. But once we hit 100, I think we're at 49 right now. We get to 100. And then I'll do it again at 200. I'll do it again at 300. Trying to get our subscriber base up, trying to get projects in and out the door. Get to that mark where we start actually maybe pulling in some money, and then we can start going into bigger projects, bigger. I do have my S10 that's sitting, waiting, ready. All right, so I'm gonna end it here. Thanks for watching, and till next time. All right, guys, if you like what you saw, please go ahead and smash that like button. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that too. You can also turn on post notifications. That way we put out a new video. All right, it comes right up on your screen there.
See you guys on the next video.